directional sign for Lansdale Estates on city property. Today is Tuesday, January 19th, and it is 6:05 in the evening. This ad hoc committee consists of myself, I'm the chairman, Councilman Robert Arconti, we have Councilman Fred Visconti, and Councilwoman Colleen Stanley. We also have our petitioner, Mr. Mark Neves, resident of 4 Irving Drive. We have Corporation Counsel Les Pinter, our Director of Planning, Mr. Alpern, and our Director of Public Works, Mr. Idearola, and ex officio member, Councilman Greg Seabury, and a resident of,
I'm also the treasurer.
and the treasurer of the,
Yes.
Your name?
Joe Napick,
Joe Napick.
K-N-A-P-I-C-H.
CH.
Yes.
Thank you all for coming to this meeting. We could begin by, with our petitioner.
We're looking for permission to erect a sign at the end of Irving Drive to identify the neighborhood, Landsidle Estates. There's an existing pole, a wooden 4x4 post that used to house a sign.
Yes.
That
Sign's gone
was
now.
vandalized and is no longer there. So now we're looking to erect this masonry sign that would measure 9 feet long by 5 feet high on city property to identify Landsidle Estates in the entryway.
We have,
I have some pictures of the area that we were talking about, along with some pictures of the proposed sign.
What about?
Where the 4x4 blue post is now is we're proposing that new sign.
What's this picture?
No, that really doesn't.
Oh.
Picture can get him in trouble.
Yeah. Just a different angle, it doesn't really show
You'd
anything.
never give him the county first.
See, that's,
it's all those, yes, thank you.
I'm looking for the blue post, what are you talking about? The white post? Oh, okay.
Well, we could probably continue with, perhaps with Attorney Pinter. Do you have everything to start us off on your end?
Sure, Mr. Chairman. We have, the petitioner had sent a letter in, basically asking for what he just mentioned, which is the masonry directional sign on city right-of-way property. The mayor forwarded that to the council, and this request was sent to the planning department for a report, as well as to the planning commission for a report. The planning department issued a report that they wanted the city traffic engineer to review the disposition of the sign. They also, the planning department that is also cited the zoning regulations, which basically prohibits signs located over public lands or rights of way unless there's an approval that's requested from the common council, and that's what the petitioner has done. The planning commission issued a letter dated November 5th to the mayor issuing a negative recommendation on the proposal. So in order for the common council, you can make a recommendation either way, but in order for the common council to approve the sign placement over the negative recommendation, the council would have to adopt that recommendation by a 2/3 vote or more. So essentially, planning has weighed in on this. The commission has issued a negative recommendation, so Now, you have to take that into consideration, decide whether you want to override that recommendation, and if you want to override the zoning regulations and allow it in spite of the general prohibition on these kinds of signs. That's the short story.
Thank you.
If I
Mr. Alpert?
may say, I wouldn't call it an overriding of the zoning regulations. The zoning regulations simply don't address this because it's on public property. The concern, as Les pointed out, the only concern, the main concern that we had was sightline for traffic. And back in 2004, there was a proposal for, not for your neighborhood, but for another neighborhood, for a sign at the intersection of Hawthorne Cove and 40 Acre Mountain to put up a sign. And the engineering department was fairly adamant against it because their concerns were sightline and the possibility of problems with snow plowing and that sort of thing. So the department, my department's view is that our chief concern is with clear sight triangles when you get to that intersection so that you can see past it. This is a large sign, and depending on where it's located, it could obstruct vision. But that depends on where it's located.
So I'm sorry, through the chair, what was the second reason, Dennis? One was-
Snow,
Okay.
yeah. And those concerns are site-specific, and that depends on where it's located, how big it is, and so on. For example, if a sign is, let's say, no more than 30 feet high, 30 inches high, you can see over it in a car. But if it's 5 feet high, as proposed, you can't. So location is extremely important.
Those pictures reflect the space that we're talking about,
Yeah.
and we're kind of looking for the city's recommendation as well as placement of that sign.
You know, that's really the call of the engineering department, the traffic engineer, not me. I would say, in a more positive light, that signs which identify neighborhoods are often recommended as a means of identifying a place, a location. Gives people a sense that they belong to a particular neighborhood. It really defines a neighborhood by itself.
Look, Director Ideal, do you have anything to add to this?
Sure. In general, I'd just like to say that we typically try to keep these types of signs out of our right-of-way for several reasons. One is this is considered a hard barrier within the city's right-of-way, in the sense that any signs that are put up, as you'll see, state highway signs have breakaway connections. They're designed so when a vehicle hits them, they snap based on the force that they hit, to prevent that hard impact to a vehicle. Obviously, a wooden sign would give you that same type of a feature. This proposed sign will not. This is pretty much a hard barrier being constructed within the city's right-of-way on the edge of curb lines. So that's a concern. Sight lines are a concern. Although we would probably get a hold harmless from this community, so if a car does run into it and there are some serious injury or death, we would be expected to be held harmless in the sense that does not prevent us from getting sued. We will probably still get sued, and we probably would have to rely on their attorneys to hold us harmless, but that is something that just is not really welcomed within the city's right-of-way. And we have to ask, is there another alternative location that could be just outside of the city's right-of-way, which could possibly solve some of these issues, if that's the case. But you know, I would have to back the original consensus in 2004 of the Director of Public Works at that point that really said, you know, these types of signs are really not welcome within the city's right-of-way. Especially, you know, we're really looking at erecting a sign as an identity of that community. If it was something pertaining to an emergency room or some kind of something that would benefit the general public in assisting them to get to a very important place like a medical facility or a hospital, then we would try to work with getting a design that met the breakaway requirements that I described if there was no other location to install it. So, again, I would have to kind of say that, you know, based on the type of sign that's being erected and the purpose of the sign, at this point, I have to reiterate what the general consensus of the Public Works Department was in 2004, and that is, you know, we really don't look too favorable on constructing these type of signs in the city's right-of-way.
Thank you. Councilman
Thank
Visconti.
you, Mr. Chairman. Through the chair, to Mr. Neves. If I looked at that picture where that sign is, the wooden sign,
Did you see those two first?
okay, yeah, there's neighbors directly, they would be right, almost in their front yard. Has anybody contacted these people here for what
I know they have been contacted in the past, yes.
they, and do we have any?
They didn't have any problem with
They didn't
it.
have any problem.
This
go
whole sign thing has been going on for a long time.
Do you have any, I think the Public Works Director took one of my questions, but that's all right. Is there any other site that would be available to you people, or instead of on city-owned property, or?
Whose property is this?
That's Peter Bizade's property. It kind of wouldn't make
This is all of
sense.
his, isn't it?
That's correct. It kind of wouldn't make sense because everybody comes in from this end to put it in this corner. It would almost be backwards at that point.
Is there any other thought given to the type of construction of the sign other than whether, you know, something rather than the masonry? Or
Yeah, I think that's
is that a
it's an
possibility?
option, sure.
Thank you.
Through the
Councilman
chair.
Stanley, yes.
And I don't know who to direct this to, but I'm looking at this map. I'm just trying to figure out is the roadway and what city property. Mr. Iannarone, you can probably help with this. Is this the roadway and is this the city property that we're talking about here?
Just make sure I'm looking
And
at
all
this.
of this is city property?
This is Statley Rough Road here. This
This
is
is,
Irving Drive.
this is Standing Rough Road, right? But-
That's correct.
But this is considered in here, city? This is in
I
city?
believe
I
that
don't
is,
understand.
Yeah, it's, you know, unfortunately, you're not really looking at an accurate.
I just want an idea.
Yeah, typically the hard lines are, on the outside, are those are monument markings, those little square pegs. So typically that would delineate the city's right of way. But then again, you got this pocket here that I don't know who owns this, see what I'm saying?
That's-
This in here? This is where they want
That's
to
the
put the
proposed
sign.
area.
Yeah, so that might still be city right of way. Yeah, you're not really looking at a survey map there, you're looking at a very simple, depiction of what attempts to, define people's property lines.
Yeah. And one of my other questions is, you said a breakaway sign, meaning like a wood sign. What about stone pillars with a wooden sign? Would that,
Yeah, anything that's not, and there's an entire ASHTO requirement for signs that are placed within what they call a travel way. So it's actually like 10 chapters long. A pillar made out of stone would not constitute a breakaway connection, yeah. In fact, even our street signs nowadays are designed to be breakaway connections. We drive a post into the ground, then we make a bolted connection, special bolts that actually break away at a certain impact. So the older signs don't have that feature, the new signs do.
okay, and then I have another question,
Please
if
go
I
ahead.
may. And I don't know who can answer this, but maybe Mr. Neves can, the original sign that is there
Mhm.
now, how long has that been there? The one, the directional sign was, has it
Since
been
day
since the neighborhood began?
Yes, yes,
So there's always been a directional sign into the neighborhood?
That's correct.
Wouldn't
Exactly
though?
where that is.
that's right.
The view of sight, what everybody was talking about is correct. However, as you're coming down Stanley Rough Road, being on that property, the proposed property, if I understood this correctly, and probably you could answer this, is the distance from the curb a minimum of 10 feet back where a sign is allowed? The view of sight, there's no actually view of sight from a road where this sign is gonna be placed. In other words, as you're coming down Staley Rough, in either direction, you could see, obviously.
Right.
Even with this sign in the proposed spot, the only thing that would be possibly hidden is that, this person's house,
Yeah, that's
I
what,
would
that's,
say. in
that's
the
one of my main
background.
concerns is that they
Yeah.
have a driveway there.
That's correct.
So when they pull out of their driveway, I wouldn't want a sign obstructing their view.
No, it
To
wouldn't, it
to
would
back
not
out or
be,
whatever.
in the location where it would be placed, it
I
would
mean,
not
I would-
be.
I think it would have to be behind their house.
Right, that's what I was thinking, is that the parcel here is such a large size piece, even if we had to push it down farther.
But is there a minimum distance from a curb site that is allowed? For instance, if this is the curb and the sign is,
Each individual location is evaluated on an individual basis. A sightline study would have to be, would have to be done once you place the sign where you like it, and looking at the alignment of the lanes, we would do a sightline study. We determine whether or not it was within the sightline.
Well, Mr. Idirelli, you'd probably want at least 200 to 300 feet, considering the speeds that are traveled on Stanley.
Yeah, as a
Road.
minimum, to be honest with you,
minimum,
that's
yeah.
bare minimum.
Bare minimum, because of the speeds there.
yeah, I
you know,
mean,
can be-
Probably will look for a little more considering how quick people move through this road, but, yeah, and, you know, the sightline issues is one of the issues, that might be able to be resolved depending on the exact location of it. You know, the second and third are all the issues pertaining to it being directly in the city's right of way. So,
May I ask,
Of course.
is the existing sign, is that in the city's right of way? It appears
I think
as
so,
though
right?
it is.
I believe it is,
I don't know,
yes.
it's pretty far back, I got a color photo here, you guys can take a look, it looks pretty far
I
from,
have the photo too, I'm just looking at the X,
oh, yeah, that's,
but I don't
But
know
you
how.
could see by this map, if this is correct, that that is a large piece there, that this is in that piece.
Can I see that?
sure.
Oh, it's not on the guy's
The curb,
property, it's on
unfortunately,
ours,
is not shown there, but
how it got there.
That sign
That's,
is,
is that the neighbor's driveway?
yes.
yeah.
So it's almost on his, along his,
There's actually a little drop off here that the picture doesn't reflect. This is only about 10 to 12 feet off.
probably this area
Here's the
here,
edge of the road,
I believe it's right,
there's the property line
Right.
for this area.
right on the edge.
He's telling us
In
it's
the
somewhere.
view of sight, if you're coming on either direction, Stanley Rough Road, any sign over in this area would not.
No, I was thinking, I was
That's
just,
why the
that's
pictures
exactly what I was
show
thinking.
that.
Picture's a little misleading.
Line of sight, and I don't even think you can have it. I mean,
Well,
I got it down.
But
so
that's
just go up the road.
supposed to,
And then the placement of that sign is
Of the
huge.
tree. And this guy's driveway is full of cars.
Mr. Chairman, has the applicant approached the property owner to see if it can be placed on private property? Because it really would kind of eliminate a lot of the issues that we're talking about.
I don't know.
I know one of my questions was to Mr. Neves, if one of your neighbors lives in this property here, I mean, if you set it back here,
Councilman
when you're
Bernard.
pulling down the road, you're not gonna be able to see it. So
Well,
you
at that
enter
point-
it anyway.
Right, and when you enter.
I see what you're saying, when you enter it, you wanna see it.
Right. I mean, 90% of the traffic comes.
Yeah, from
down.
that direction.
Right, exactly.
But if it was put, and you could see it when you pull in.
How,
Option.
I'm
That's
sorry, your
private
your
property.
proposed sign, how far from the travel portion of the highway of Irby Drive are you looking to put your proposed masonry sign? How far back would you say?
Probably 15 feet off the curb.
15 feet from there? And that would
Off
probably...
of the curb on Irvy,
On Irby. And what
Right.
would you say it was from
probably
Stanley Rough Road?
25, 30 feet.
Now, listen, I've been down Irving Drive many times, and I know that the houses are meticulously kept. What assurance do we have that this is gonna this is gonna maintain? Do you have an association?
Yes, we have an association that we pay dues to, that there's common areas that get mowed now and maintained and tree work and things like that.
So this thing would be maintained?
Yes.
This is a common area that gets maintained?
Yes.
This is not one of our common areas that gets maintained. It currently gets mowed by
This
the
gentleman?
gentleman on the corner. But in doing the sign, we put into our sign proposal with our association for us to now to mow that area and maintain that area.
Who's been mowing that?
This gentleman?
Mr. Mitchell on the corner.
Oh, and the corner guy with the trucks?
I
Exactly.
really would like to have him here,
Yeah.
because I think that the sign impacts him, along with the city. It really impacts this neighbor here, who is not gonna get any benefit at all from having the sign.
You guys, are the residents there pretty steadfast on a masonry sign?
There's been all different proposals over a long period of time.
Okay.
There was.
Well, since you had a sign,
There's a sign committee in place,
See, I,
and this is what
you
they came up
you had a sign, I mean,
see, I don't have a problem
What's-
because
what's
we're
that?
replacing the sign that's already there.
sorry. Okay, we'll see if anybody else has any other comments at all. How about some of our ex officio members, do you have anything
The
to
only,
add to this?
I've listened, it's pretty interesting, I've never been exposed to anything like this before on the council. My recommendation, and I don't know if this is something that Councilman Visconti is considering, because I think I heard you just say you were prepared to do a motion. The question was asked of you folks, is this type of sign etched in stone? Excuse the pun. You said no. I didn't mean to do that either. Shut it. But maybe if you came back with, some of the suggestions. I like the idea of the sign there. I think it's an attractive thing, but I also knew the sight lines and the traffic was going to be involved in that anyway. But that would be my only suggestion.
I just want to comment also. I understand, there's a procedure that we have to go through, but being that was a sign there, how long have you been there? Forever?
longer than I've been there.
Longer than you've been there. And I think by replacing what you want to replace it with something nicer.
That's correct.
I don't have a problem with replacing something that's already been there. I mean, it's almost like squatter's rights, I think, But I do have a concern with that neighbor. I think it's an intricate part of making this decision, him not being here. I really would, don't feel comfortable making any kind of decision without hearing, what that neighbor has to say about it. That's my general opinion. Other than that, I don't have a problem with you if you can follow the rules and do a, wooden sign and a breakaway sign and make sure that it's not in, the right of way or the view of the traffic. But I do have an issue with not knowing really exactly what that neighbor feels. He's the one that takes care of this property. He's the one that mows this property. So to me, that's a significant question that I have that I would be more comfortable hearing from him personally before I make a decision. Okay? That's just.
I have just a little, now, you folks have like bylaws, I would imagine?
Yes.
Now, if
And
whatever sign
insurance.
gets put up, whatever sign, let's just say a sign gets approved by the common council, there's provisions in there, in your bylaws, that are gonna specifically address this sign, I would hope. I would like to see, I would like to see provisions in your bylaws that if, let's just say some kids put graffiti all over this thing, that it's not going to stay that way, looking like an eyesore. Not that you folks would do that, but I think I would like to see something there that there's proper maintenance of this sign area. Because we all know that it could become a target for some graffiti people to do that, and we don't want it left that way. So perhaps something that could be articulated that it's gonna, there's gonna be proper maintenance of any sign that may be put in.
If I may,
Yes,
through the chair, Mr.
please do it.
Do you have something in your bylaws now that would cover that, or would that? be
There is currently nothing in our bylaws regarding our existing sign, as you can see. So obviously, we would have to make some amendment to it, or,
Would you see, or do you see any problem with this, with putting something like that in your bylaws?
no, I mean, the vote's already been taken by the neighborhood, approved, the funds are already in place to do this. Nobody's ever done the proper trail of the way to get this erected.
There.
So that's why we are where we are now.
Okay.
As, as we touched on the mowing of the land, that area,
Yeah, that's
that
my
neighbor
issue.
does do it at this present time, but once our sign goes up, we're gonna take care of that whole area and
Okay.
maintain it. As far as the vandalism of it, and we'll have to talk about that, obviously, we will take care of it.
Thank you.
I think I'd like to see just some specific
Yeah.
language that this thing is gonna be maintained, if in fact it's approved.
I'd like to see them come back to it, but I really feel for this neighbor. I mean, he's been taking care of his property, he probably feels it's his. I mean, usually when you're on a corner lot and you're mowing it, and he's been mowing it for years, and, I mean, you know, and all of a sudden, you know, you put your sign up, and next thing you know, you're gonna take care of it. Of course, you're gonna probably start to mow it. I know a lot of homeowners that would feel like they've lost a piece of their property. So I really would like to hear more from them.
Can I-
Please go ahead, Director.
Yeah, I have just a question, because I think Colleen, you made a good point about the existing sign. Was there a reason why you just didn't want to replace what was there?
That was
Which
I can't answer that question, it was a previous sign committee, and
Oh.
there's been committee after committee after committee.
Well, it was just to spruce it
sounds
up a
like
little
government.
better.
Yeah, it was, everybody was looking to upgrade, but
It was just an upgrade type of thing, and once it
I
was
see.
knocked
Because I
down and.
think that would simplify the proposal.
Well, that's what I was thinking when before I even walked in here, but I didn't realize it was a sign that looked like a for sale sign.
Right, that's exactly.
But I also, I mean, there's no, the reason for your sign is not to try and privatize your neighborhood in any way, because it is, it's city road, right?
right.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Director.
one of the other things that would really facilitate some better discussions is if we had an actual map survey plan that actually showed, one, where the city's right-of-way is. I really don't know whether that sign is on city right-of-way or not. I couldn't tell you by the look of that picture. I couldn't tell you by taking a look at the maps that are in front of me, because they're really not A2 surveys. So if there's any way to do a little research, get, maybe there's a plot plan of the neighbor that would be abutting the city's right-of-way. You might be able to have enough information there to triangulate the location of that sign. I mean, I hate for you to go get a surveyor to do all of that, but it would really facilitate some better discussion, because we're really looking at maps that are just used purely for just a quick overview of where the property lines are and where they're not, so.
Would we not have a subdivision?
There is a subdivision map, it's an old one, I just want to show you, it's for the entire community. I mean, take a look at this and tell me if that helps, because it doesn't help me,
No, really.
you know? You'll notice the piece of property in question still looks like it's outside the city's right-of-way, but then again, it's shaded in to look like it's part of the city's right-of-way, so you might be able to do just some quick research in the city's,
I don't have my
the
glasses
key word
on.
is quick. And you might be able to get enough information to help you determine where that right-of-way is without hiring a surveyor.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, wow, you can see a lot more this way.
Councilman Seabury.
Just as a question here, the Mitchells, are they not members of your association?
They are not a member.
Because sometimes the front house is included in.
Yeah, this seems to be right outside of the community that was developed
Thank
in,
you.
I think, 80s,
I say that.
or somewhere in the 80s.
I'll take a shot.
Okay, any other discussion from anyone?
Must be more detailed maps.
Well, I guess we'll entertain a
He was saying.
motion.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a
Gary
motion
Hawley, well.
to continue the
Each of history.
ad hoc committee meeting until further information can be given to the committee regarding the type of sign, location of the sign, and possible input from the neighbor or neighbors regarding the location of the sign. Also, any addition to their bylaws concerning the upkeep of the sign to be given to the committee in writing.
Do I have a second?
The only thing I would cross off is possible input from neighbors. I
Okay.
wanna hear
Yeah,
from the
that's-
neighbors.
I'm sorry. That was me, I don't have that in there. I
Oh,
just-
okay. You have that? Second.
Okay, well, we'll try your minds. All those in favor of Mr. Councilman Visconti's motion, signify by saying aye.
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 Okay.
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Just a little more work for
Thank
that.
you.
Why not?